Friday night live session, my Mary's Mystery number 3. I started a timeline. During the actual lesson on doing the timeline, I said to leave a 3/4 inch border around the page. Maybe you can see that better on the back here. And as I got to working with it, we just put some washi tape in here. And that's a very good solution. That's a very good solution if you want an illuminated border. I am going to do a little series, like I did the tatting series, on drawing and making your own illuminated borders. I Googled them, and there are all sorts of examples of illuminated borders out there on the internet. There are some that are for sale from graphic artists, but I want to do a little series on making our own. And so here's what I'm going to do. I have this painty paper that was gifted to me in some Happy Mail, and I really like it because it's on deli paper for one thing, and it's very soft and muted. I am going to take my ruler and tear off about an inch strip of it, maybe a little bit more than an inch. So I'm just going to walk through the steps of what I'm doing here, and then if you like this, if you want to try it, it's out there. It's free for you to try. I'm going to do several of these, probably space them out in my Mary with Morning videos. This will be the first one. Before we get started, what I want to do is introduce you to the motifs that we're going to do in this. And they're going to be very simple. Very, very simple motifs. The first one are going to be some little birds. And I'm going to draw these larger here as an example, but when I get to doing my actual illuminated border, you'll see they'll be a lot smaller. So, to do the little birds, it's very simple. I want you to think about an oval, maybe like you're drawing an eye. Just like that. I mean, kids do this in grade school, right? And then a little round circle for a head. And you might want to put a little beak on it, and a triangle for a tail. How simple is that? Don't worry that your bird is not perfect. And we want to do them facing different directions, so we're going to do the same thing again. The oval for the body. Think of drawing an eye, a circle for the head, maybe give it a little beak, and a triangular tail. Maybe we want one just kind of sitting on the line horizontally. Maybe just like this. Maybe we'll put his tail up. So, simple little birds. And this particular border is all going to be done in black. You may want to color your birds blue, red, yellow, whatever. But I'm going to use black because it shows up really well in this demonstration. So that's the number 1 motif that we're going to use on our illuminated border. The second one is, again, really simple. It's going to be a squiggly line, just like that. And we'll go all the way down the page with our squiggly line. So that's number 2. Very simple. Anybody can do that. The third motif, very simple again, are going to be dots. Who can't make a dot? Who can't make a dot? Number 3, dots. Number 4, again, really simple, your heart. A heart shape. Very simple. Very, very simple. You do these in elementary school. Number 5, again, really simple. It's going to be some tiny leaves. Just like this. Nothing hard about these at all. Number 5. Number 6 is going to be a little bit harder, but it's not going to be undoable. I'm going to do that swirl where you start off, and you bring it around this way, and like that. Number 6. So these are just some things that we're going to put all these motifs together to make a really pretty illuminated border on our page. Let's go ahead and let's do our border over here. Even though that's showing through, I can put some ink over that. This page because the dark lines were showing through from this page. I put my pretty painty paper down here because this is where we're going to do our border, and I painted the background and then I collaged some text over it to get rid of the marks that were showing through, just kind of prepping the pages. Now I'm going to do the first illuminated border. And I'm going to start out by doing the squiggly line. Now you may want to leave a little of this showing through along the border. It just depends on how much space you have on your page to work with. I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to draw a squiggly line all the way down the border of the page. Just a squiggly line, just like that. Now I said to leave about 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to make mine a little bit larger so that you can see it, and also because the tip of my pen is a little bit wider and I want to be able to draw fairly legible motifs on my page. Now I'm going to come over probably about 1 inch, and I'm going to draw another squiggly line and try to keep it evenly spaced, but if it's not, that's not a big deal. The more you do this, the more practice you have, the more you'll get used to what you want to do and figure it out. Just do a practice page first to get a feel of it. Now, I have a lot of painty paper left here. If I were doing this on my timeline, I might put my circles in there, or I might want more text over on this side. It's kind of a personal decision. So that was our first step, was to do the squiggly line. So I'm going to write right here, I'll put a dot. Squiggle line first. And then second, we're going to come in and we're going to do these little leaf motifs. Right here, these little tiny leaf motifs. And we're going to do them on the squiggle line. Now, you can start out by just putting a few on there, because you can always go back and put in more. So the second was the leaves. So now we're going to go in and put in our little birds. And when we put in the birds, we want them facing different directions. So I'm going to start here. You want to leave a little space at the top here. And I start by doing the oval, which is I call a slanted eye, and just shade in the body. Now I'm going to do mine all in black so it'll show up on the page. Depending on what you're doing, you may want to make these different colors. And there's my little triangle, and here's the head, and I'll just put a little beak in there. Don't worry that your bird may be an odd bird. Sometimes they're the ones that have the most personality. So put one there, come down, leave some space in here. I would say maybe 1.5 inches of space, and do another bird and face him the opposite direction. So draw the oval body. Very simple. Grade school kids do this. If grade school kids can do it, I guarantee you can do it. Now look how his tail is going down, and he's got a really fat beak. That's okay, he's an odd bird. Maybe we'll give him a little bit more of a shapely body here. There. Now, this one, I think I want this one to face this way again. So come down, leave about 1.5 inches of space. Draw your slanted eye for the body. Do a little tail, triangle tail, a circle for the eye, give him a little beak. Simple, 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 simple. Come down and do another one, about another 3/4 of an inch down. Simple grade school birds. Don't tell me you can't do this. That's all there is to it. Now, the next thing that we want to do is do the swirls. Okay, this may be a little bit harder, but it's not that hard. I want you to do the swirl so that the bird is sitting on top of the swirl. Like this. We'll draw the bird over here. See how, ignore this line. Here, let's do him here. See how he's sitting on top of that swirl? My little bird. That's what we want. We want the bird sitting on top of the swirl. Well, so we're going to make the swirl, and I want the swirl to fit the line. So you might want to come underneath of the body of the bird, start here, come around, let the side of the swirl touch the side of the vine, bring it around, and let it go down. Now I'm using a fat marker, so my lines for me are thick enough. If you're using a thinner pen like this, you might want to repeat those lines so that you have a fatter line. You want a dark line to show up. All right, so we're going to do the opposite kind of a swirl here. Start your swirl. Swirls are not hard to do. Just start them, but try to make them touch both sides of your vine and bring them down that way. Same thing here. And the more you do this, the better it will look, and the more happy you'll be with it. Okay? So just keep going with it until you get down to the bottom. And you'll get so that you'll be doing a swirl here, and then you'll be bringing your swirl down here and bringing it up that way. You'll be doing different things. You'll be taking it and making it your own. Okay, so the third thing are the swirls. We prepped our page. We did our squiggle line. Whoops. The third thing were the birds. I'm sorry. The third thing were the birds. And then the fourth thing were the swirls. We prepped our page. We did our lines. We did our leaves. We did the birds. And then we did the swirls. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the hearts. So let's just write hearts. Hearts aren't hard. Grade school kids do hearts. I'm telling you, this is not a hard thing to do. Heart here, maybe a heart in here, just where you see a nice empty space. Put a little heart in there. Then come back and put some more little leaves. So I'll put more leaves. So you wanna kind of fancy this up. And I like to put some leaves on these swirls. It really just kind of depends on your media and what you're working with. And what you like. Not everybody likes a lot of fancy stuff. They like it minimalistic. Now let's put some more. And let's put a little leaf in there. Just where you think one should go. And then the last thing will be the dots. And I like to put like 3 dots at various places in here around my swirls. You kind of have to figure out where you want them. You could put dots on the vines if you wanted to do that, or you could put dots coming down next to the vine. It's just kind of where you want it. Now let's do another one. Let's do another one. I'm going to do one across this text. We'll leave that blue alone. Let's do one coming right down here is my squiggle lines. Squiggly lines, squiggle lines. This is where you don't have to worry about drawing a straight line. And then come over, and I'm leaving a good amount of space in here because I need to get my motifs in there. But it really depends on the page that you're working on. And it depends on the width of your pinpoint. So just come down, draw your squiggly line. That was number 1. Number 2 is to do the leaves. And don't worry if they're not perfect leaves. The more you do, the better they'll get. And they don't have to be next to each other, you know, space them out. Because you can come back in. I'm going to call this Illuminated. Border number 1. And then these are the different motifs. That's all there is to it. How fun that is. So today it is June the 11th. There we go. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow morning.